guys, I wanted to officially give you the video on starting transition. So as you know, I've done other videos in the past about what I believe is the timeline of when you want to start transition. For me, I always tell everybody it has nothing to do with the scale and everything to do with your body fat percentage. Because if you're over 35, you're too old to have extra fat on your body, because every extra pound of fat is 4 extra pounds of pressure on your joints and your organs. So as I've mentioned before in other videos, I have just been doing body fat percentage scanners, just staying the course on program. And so I went to the place where I do the body fat scan, and my body fats was down at, I think it was like the top of the 23 range, and a healthy body fat percentage range for a female that's 47 is between 18 and 22, high is 25. So I knew I didn't want to stop at 25, so I just kind of stayed the course for another almost 2 weeks, and that's where it dumped down into that high 23s. Am I in the 22 to 18% optimal range? No, not yet. But here's where my sign was that it was time to transition, even though I wasn't there. Now I'm going to make a disclaimer. What I'm about to say, do not let this be your dialogue that lets you stop before you're actually there. Because remember, for me, I've been on plan for months and months and months and months. It's actually taken me 59 weeks to lose 58 pounds. So 59 weeks, 58 pounds. How many of you would have stayed the course? I actually just looked at I was going through photos. Thanksgiving, I weighed 146. I weigh 136 now. 3 months, guys. How many of you would have stayed in the trenches, let your body shred fat, if you weren't even losing 3 pounds a month? I'm trying to say this to you because of what I'm about to say. So as we know, I've not changed anything up. I've just been doing the same thing over and over and over. And my body has just let go of the weight slow. The inches have kept moving, so I knew I was just still in fat burn, getting rid of that body fat, and that body fat percentage scale told me that. Well, something interesting started happening a couple of weeks ago. I reached out to my hormone doctor saying, I just feel a little off. Like, I don't know I'm waking up a little bit more tired. I don't know really what's going on. So she said, let's run a bunch of blood work. Let's see where we are, because I run blood work every about 12 weeks and do the dance of all the supplements and hormones and all that stuff to just keep my body feeling good. It's not about the weight. It's about how I feel when I wake up, how I sleep at night, how I feel throughout the day, right? So I knew something was kind of off a couple weeks ago. So we started to run the blood work, but then this other sign is what I'm telling you would be why I stopped in the weight loss phase and started transition this week, instead of waiting till I got to that 22% body fat, is because I was doing my normal stuff, and I would eat a brownie bake at 9 o'clock at night. If you guys notice, I've been really good about videoing my nighttime fueling, because I'm on it because I'm hungry at 9 o'clock at night, which has not been a normal thing for me. So I'd eat the brownie bake at 9 o'clock at night, and by 9:45 at night, I was starving. And I was like, what is this? So I would go, okay, well, I guess maybe I'll eat a cheese stick or some Quest chips or something like that. And I would eat half of a lean, whether it was Quest chips or cheese, literally 45 minutes after I'd had my fueling at 9 o'clock at night. And that would only to get me another hour. And then I was hungry again. And so what I'm about to say is this. It was legitimate physical hunger. It was not, it's nighttime, I want to munch, all of that. Because I know how to override that. My stomach literally was growling, where my husband's like, go get something to eat already, right? So that's where I knew I was down to enough body fat gone that there wasn't enough there to keep me satiated. And I'm going to give you a warning. I have never ever seen anybody have this happen unless they were within 5 pounds of a healthy BMI. So if you're 5'3" and you're looking good at 150 pounds and you're claiming that you're hungry at night, that's bull crap. You're emotionally hungry because you still have plenty of fat on your body. So that's why I'm saying, do not let what I'm saying. I got hungry at 137 pounds, not 150. And the healthy BMI range for me is 142 to 118. I'm well under that 142 or 3 number, right? So that's where I knew I had to have more fuel. And this is why when you allow the program to do what it does and you get down very close to that healthy BMI, it's the healthy BMI, you guys, or healthy body fat percentage. Now, if you start getting hungry, that's your sign that you just don't have enough fat to keep you in fat burn. So that is where I knew I needed more calories because I was just dying at night out of hunger, right? So again, don't let that be your dialogue to quit too quickly because I was already under 25% body fat and I was already under the BMI range, but I know I still have more fluff around the center. I did a video that kind of showed me grabbing my fat from day one of transition. But I know that I'm not going to be able to keep going and get that six-pack abs per se without more fuel. So this is why if you start transition, when you start getting hungry and you're within 2 to 5 pounds of the healthy BMI range, or me, I'm in that BMI range and that body fat percentage, but I don't have a six-pack ab, the hunger is a sign that I need more fuel to keep shredding fat, okay? And throw questions if this is not computing to you. That's the sign of hunger, but hunger is not going to happen unless you're within 2 to 5 pounds of that healthy BMI or in that BMI. So now this is where week 1 is adding an extra vegetable. Well, remember how I said that I am not feeling the greatest, something's been off. So we ran all my lab work, and of course, estrogen, progesterone, everything's all whacked out again. It's the ebb and flow of women's hormones. I'm 47, this is how it works. And then there were some other things that were coming up again, all my liver counts, like they have been ever since my daughter was born 12 years ago. I had cholestasis, those are in some old videos. And my liver is just not loving whatever, it does this. Like luckily my labs have been way worse in the past, but I just knew that there was enough going on with my hormones being off, the liver counts being off, that it was time to keep going on that part of my journey. So what's really cool is, because my hormone doctor is amazing, if you're having hormone issues, her name is Carson Delgado, K-A-R-S-E-N, Delgado, D-E-L-G-A-D-O. She's out of here in Utah, but I have probably over 55 clients, friends, coaches working with her because she is a medical practitioner, but also looks at the natural path route as well. So when we went over my numbers this last week, she's like, well, you know, you're already at healthy weight. You obviously are getting hungry. It's time to get more calories in, because she understands Optavia totally. Even though she doesn't prescribe Optavia, she understands the science, the methodology. She loves the balanced eating. And so that's where she was saying, fascinating that your labs are going wacky when I know how clean you're eating, which tells me it's time to really support those organs that are struggling, which again is the liver. And 2 years ago when I started working with her, the thing she was having me do was drink celery juice first thing in the morning. Organic celery juice tastes way better than regular celery. Organic is salty, regular is like eating grass. Anyway, so here's what's fascinating is before, when I tried to do the celery juice in the morning, and granted I had all these other health issues going on, so that's why my body wouldn't let go of weight anyway, but that celery juice, because it was first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, it kind of was stalling me out to lose weight. It was this interesting thing, but it might not have even been the celery juice. So here's what's really fun for me is I'm now, the one vegetable, week 1, is adding a vegetable. I am adding celery juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach as my week 1 transition extra vegetable on the day. So I drink it on the empty stomach, and then within 10 minutes, because I need to let it get down on that empty stomach, then I'm drinking my shake, because again, here's what I'm going to teach you, if you're still with me on this, is next week is the dairy, if I remember right, and then the following week is adding the fruit. So the dairy is a protein source. I already have cottage cheese and cheese in there. That'll be really easy to add an extra protein, like at lunchtime. I'll just add, that, and then drop the fueling if that's next week. Again, I only work 1 week at a time. Anyhow, so my point is, though, in Dr. A's literature, he doesn't talk about pairing. So I'm going to front load this so you guys can watch what I'm talking about down the road. When it's the week where you throw in a piece of fruit, you never throw in a piece of fruit if it's not paired with protein. So if I remember right, next week being the dairy, it might be the other way around, you will never eat that fruit without either pairing it with a fueling or with that dairy protein source, because again, that apple is still going to be 25 carbs. It will still spike your blood sugar if you eat it by itself. And we all know, if you've been listening to Elizabeth Benton's podcast, like I suggest, starting with number one, if you want to learn this phase of it, is when you add a carb in your body by itself, it doesn't matter if it comes from a Twinkie, a Ding Dong, steel cut oats, or an apple, it is still sugar and it still spikes that blood sugar. So if I go eat that apple next week or the following week by itself, guess what it's going to do? Spike that blood sugar by 25 carbs, because I know a small apple, because I will be using my Fitness Pal, I'm actually going to put the apple on a food scale, plug it into my Fitness Pal to know exactly how many ounces it is of carbs, how many carbs it is, to know exactly how many grams of protein I need to pair it with. Because I want to be exact about this. Down the road, I'll know the matches of it, but I honestly don't know if a small apple's 21 carbs or 27 carbs. And I want to make sure when I eat that apple, because I'm going to put it on a food scale, plug it into my Fitness Pal, however many ounces it is, it'll tell me how many grams of sugar or carbs it is for me to know exactly to match the same amount of protein with it. So I'll show you guys this as the process goes. So that's one of the things that the literature tells you to just add a piece of fruit. You never add a piece of fruit without pairing it, because I know Elizabeth Benton teaches it a lot better than me. When you eat that apple by itself, it spikes that blood sugar by 25 grams of sugar, let's say. When you eat carbs by themselves, the body has to deploy insulin to bring down that blood sugar. Anytime you deploy insulin, guess what also deploys? Cortisol. So you have cortisol and insulin on board, and the minute that cortisol gets deployed, guess what happens? Your body cannot use that carb as fuel. It's going to store as fat and inflammation. That's why you will never see me add a piece of fruit without pairing it with protein. Because if I'm going to spike my blood sugar by 25 grams of sugar, I'd rather do it with a Twinkie, right? Like, I mean, I know that sounds dumb, and granted, a Twinkie's 220 calories and the apple's only 50, and it still is going to come to calories in, calories out. But I just wanted you guys to know the methodology of what I'm about to go into, because week one's easy. Adding an extra vegetable, I'm just doing it in the form of celery juice in the morning, along with some high-level liver cleanse pills, because that's my weak link. It has been for 12 years. So, yay, that's my phase of the weight loss is done. I get to keep healing the organs that have been having issues for 12 years, right? So week one's easy. Celery juice, do I love it? No. Is it cleaning out my digestive tract? Gotcha. You guys, any of you that are constipated, I wouldn't do it every day, but holy cow, if you bring that the celery from dinner into juicing it in the morning, Mount St. Helens. I'm not kidding you. Anyway, so I just wanted to give you kind of the elongated version of where I am. I've done, today's day 3 of the added vegetable, piece of cake, helping my liver, getting through phase 1, week 1 of it. And so that's what's about to come down the pipe here. So I just thought you guys would want to find it fascinating that I kind of wanted to get down to that 22 or below body fat percentage, but I'm starving at night. There's just not enough fat to keep me in a good state of fat burn. But that doesn't happen unless you're really close to a healthy BMI and or a healthy body fat percentage. And what I know is, because I've said yes to moving into transition and adding extra calories, guess what I also know? My body will still let go of some more weight. So most people, if they stop too soon, you're not going to lose weight. You still have fat on your body, right? But for me, I have to stop because I'm starving, because I'm in that healthy range. So that's the sign. And so because I just don't have enough fat, my body's stalling out. So when I add more fuel, it will probably drop another pound or 2 or 3 as I add more fuel. That's a fascinating piece of the puzzle. Most people don't understand why, but most people stop the weight loss phase too soon. That's why they don't lose in transition, because they think they are where they need to be. And I can promise you, if you're not in a healthy BMI range and you're not at a healthy body fat percentage, you're really not healthy anyway, right? So anyway, I know I've kind of dumped a lot of information on, but people just keep asking me all these questions. I'm like, I'm just going to go and make a video about where I am, why I'm moving forward in transition, why people stop too early and they don't lose weight and they kind of start gaining because they didn't get to where they should have, you know, and then what's going on with my health. So I'm excited, you guys, and it's fun, it's exciting, and I don't love fruit. Ironically, I used to be hypoglycemic, where if I'd eat fruit, it would like spike my blood sugar and make me feel awful. So it's going to be fun to actually add fruit paired correctly with protein, because when I was younger, I just didn't know that that's what all I needed to do in order to actually be able to eat fruit and not have it make me feel bad, right? So anyhow, comment below, let me know what questions you have, because obviously I'm going to document this entire process. So I just don't know what you guys will want to know as I'm doing it. So I can't go in reverse. Once I've passed that week, I won't be able to go back. So just let me know any questions you have as I'm doing this, so I make sure to incorporate it in the next couple of weeks' videos as I'm doing the do. So as I always say, again, 58 pounds in 59 weeks. I don't have my logo stuff yet. I ordered new sizes because all my old stuff was an extra large, and now I ordered smalls in my Just Don't Quit logo. And I lived by my logo and mantra. It's not easy. You have no control of how fast your body loses the weight and gets healthy. But you do have control of how long you stay the course. So like I always say in every video, you get to make sure that you choose you. You are worth it, and just don't quit on yourself. You can do it. See you guys.